The scenes you're about to see were edited out of the original way of the dream and center, for the most part, around a man who found himself in quite a predicament when he found the perfect container for his anima projections. Much like the story of faithful John, this man fell madly in love with an image alone before even having met the girl. How did this happen, and what can we say about it? We turn now to Dr. von Franz as she discusses her former patient. Dr. von Franz, what role does a man's mother complex play in whom he ends up projecting his anima onto?
The anima is intimately connected to the mother complex in the man. When a man projects his anima onto a woman, you can be sure that her psychological makeup is in some way related to that of his mother, and it is a purely unconscious phenomena, at least initially. Whatever unresolved issues the man has around his mother, it will inevitably manifest in his psyche, or even in his body, in the course of the relationship. Generally, the more repressed he is with these issues, the stronger the anima projection will be, which invariably tends to an eruption of unconscious material, of prima materia. The stuff of this prima materia is often centered around traumas the individual experienced in childhood and infancy.
Can you give us an example of this?
I once had a patient who fit the profile of a puer attornus, and as we know, a puer generally has an overdependence on the mother. To him, she is his hero. The man never really withdrew this projection from his mother, and was thus always unconsciously looking for it in a woman. He refused to activate the archetype in himself to reclaim his projection for himself, which was the necessary action he needed in order to break from his dependency on the mother. And as you see, this man's mother was particularly affectionate in the physical sense, but was emotionally unavailable herself. So it was no great surprise that he fell madly in love with a girl who was neither affectionate nor emotionally available. He was trying to get from this girl what he could not get from his mother. Of course, his anima projection was so strong with this particular creature, for the very reason that she could in no way provide it. This, of course, led to a severe neurotic breakdown, for at the time this man's ego was not very developed.
But why would he project his anima onto a woman such as this, who was neither affectionate nor emotionally available?
To begin, this man had no real relationship to his unconscious. He was completely unaware of his unconscious motivations. The main function of the inner anima figure is to act as a bridge so that one may develop a relationship to their unconscious, to their inner selves, and ultimately to the archetypal core of the self.
It sounds like this man was looking for love in all the wrong places.
In a sense, yes. What he was longing for from without, he needed to develop within himself. So by falling for this girl, which led to his breakdown, he found his way into therapy, where he was able to begin to develop a relationship with himself, with his inner life and the unconscious. You see, the longing we experience for the other can be described paradoxically as both the longing for wholeness through the process of individuation, in other words, differentiation leading to integration, and at the same time a regressive impulse to reconnect with the mother and be cared for like we were as helpless infants, or even a desire to attain the existence we had when in the womb. And though it may seem obvious that we cannot go back to Kansas, so to speak, a great many of individuals keep trying for the duration of their lives.
It seems to me that the longing we experience for the other pulls us into situations where we have an opportunity for transformation.
There is a natural progression where in the first half of life we are looking to the world outside of ourselves to fulfill our longings, which it does to some extent. But as our lives deepen and we get on in years, there comes the realization that what one truly desires can only be found in relation to the inner source, to the self. This is what Jung called the religious function. When, after midlife, we realize such longings toward the other must be modulated, and with a shifting of focus onto the self, we then have a real chance to withdraw our projections and to align ourselves with the self, which simultaneously allows for the actualization of our full human potential, and also the actualization of the self in human consciousness.
Dr. von Franz, sometimes after clipping my toenails, I have the compulsion to smell my fingers. The aroma I experience smells very much like a cross between Roquefort and Parmesan cheese. Can you explain this phenomenon?
What you are smelling is the byproduct of a microbial process that takes place on moist protein-rich surfaces, such that can be found in the crevices of your toenails. So it is by no coincidence that the same processes produce the cheeses you have described. Now, as to your compulsion to smell your fingers, it seems you have a certain morbid curiosity. One can only imagine what other types of behaviors you engage in behind closed doors.
Ha 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 ha! Dr. von Franz, where do we see evidence that the self has a guiding influence in our lives?
One simply must look to their dreams. We can say the dreams are the letters of the self, which the self writes us every night telling us, do a little bit of that, or do a little bit less of that, or go ahead to the left, or go ahead to the right. And as I say, if one looks back, one sees suddenly there is a pattern in this. The self is having a plan with us, a kind of destiny.
Thank you, Dr. von Franz.
You're very welcome.
The scenes you're about to see were edited out of the original The Way of the Dream, and center, for the most part, on a young man who found himself in quite a predicament.
Which simultaneously allows for the actualization of our full human potential. And at the same time, aggressively.
Take two on that one?
Yeah. Scene 4, take 1.
Can you give us an example of this?
Hey, if one looks back, one sees suddenly there is a pattern in these.
Okay.
I look like Ned Flanders.
Yeah.
With my glasses.
Hey diddly do, neighbor. Okay.
Is in some way related in the course of the relationship, which invariably leads to an eruption of unconscious material. The stuff of this prima materia.
Fuck! That was going so good! Could we do an edit there?
Yeah.
The stuff of? Return now to Dr. Dong. Dr. Dong. Dr. Dong. Dr. Dong.
And ultimately to the archetypal core of the self.
I'll take that again.
Okay.
Take two.
Yeah. Scene 7 and take 2.
I think of Droopy Dog a little bit.
Yeah.
Droopy Dog. Droopy. And John Wayne.
For the duration of their lives.
We're gonna keep that.
Okay.
Did you hear that thing I did in there?
Yeah, there was like a little something. Yeah, something was kind of.
That was good though.
goofy.
That'll go over fine.
Okay. Close up, and then looking away. Take 1. Oh, and did we want to?
You have to
Yeah.
close it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Hence the term close up.
That's what close up means.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that one may develop a relationship to their unconscious.
Not supposed to laugh.
Yeah.
One more time.
Okay.
This, of course, led to a severe neurotic breakdown.
We'll go from this, of course. Thank you, Dr. Von Franz.